Okay, here's the third and final, or the third video of graphing linear functions. Write an equation slope-intercept form of the given line. Okay, so there's a line. So you line up your y equals mx plus b. Okay, and you got to find m and b. You don't need any formulas. You just measure. You find where the points are at. Slope is, okay, so b, that should be easy to find. Okay, it's right there. That's where it crosses the y-axis. It's up 1, 2. So 2 is the b. Now a slope is the ratio of rise over run. So I find a point going to the right here. Okay. Okay, and I need to find how far I'm rising. 1, 2. So 2 is the rise. 3 is the run. So 2/3. Okay. Okay, now, next one, same idea. You don't, just looking at a graph, you should be able to find the m and b without really doing any formulas or anything. If you don't have a graph, you need them, but not when you have a graph. M's the line slope, B is where the line crosses the y-axis. So there's my point, and that's down 1 from the middle, so that's at -1. Okay, now rise over run. Go to the right. Don't move up. Just always go to the right. Don't even look at the left side of the left 2 quadrants. So right there is probably good. Okay. So it's down 1, 2, 3, 4. It goes down 4 every time you move right 1. -4 over 1, you're just going to write -4. If there's a 1 under it, you don't need it. Okay. Graph the equation with slope and y-intercept. Now you need to now the equation's given. I mean, you see y equals mx plus b. Now it's your job to graph the line. So slope, y-intercept. Slope's -3 over 1, and the y-intercept's +5. You got to put a 1 under that -3. So on the y-axis, you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Then from there, you drop 3 every time you go 1 right. Every time the x increases by 1, the line drops 3. Okay. Then you take a ruler, graph it, arrows on both ends, please. Okay. And that line fits the equation perfectly. Okay, number 4, you got to get y by itself. Y is a function of x. Get the y by itself. So y is multiplied by 3, +3, so we can check that. We don't have to change all the signs. So I get rid of that x by making a 0x on the other side, so I have a place to plus the 6x. So equals 3 times y. That's going to be 6x plus 12. Then you divide everything by 3. Okay. So y, it's going to be 2x plus 4, mb. So we have a slope of 2, y-intercept a +4. So on the y-axis, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the 2 means it's 2 over 1, so I go right 1 up 2. Okay. There's your line. Arrows on both ends. That line fits the equation. Now, x equals that's an x right there. Okay, now y is supposed to be by itself, but you don't have y. You're missing one of your variables, so that throws out y equals mx plus b. You're missing the y. So if I'm missing the y, this is called a constant graph. You're going to make 3 coordinates. Make a series of coordinates. You make however many you want, but 3 at the least. So if I'm missing the y, y is whatever, 1, 2, 3, x is -6. So then you go left 6, up 1. Left 6, up 2. Left 6, up 3. Okay. And it's a straight vertical line. Okay, it should be parallel with it should run right across the x-axis. Okay, the letter you're missing, it's always parallel to that axis. Okay. Okay, number 6, same thing, get the y by itself, y. So plus 0x, you minus 2x from 0x. So it's going to be negative 2x plus 20, and then you divide everything by 5. Y is by itself, negative 2 divided by 5 is a decimal, so I'm going to put negative 2/5 x. 20 divided by 5 is 4. Okay, M be that. So I have a slope of negative 2/5 and a y-intercept of positive 4. So then I go down to right 5. Every time the x increases by 5, the y drops 2. It's a ratio, so it keeps repeating off the graph, so just make it with the 2. Okay, that's the graphing of the lines. There's more graphs to come. Now for problems 6 through 9, you're writing an equation in slope-intercept form of a line, but you don't have the graph. Okay, the slope of this graph is negative 2/3. Also, another point on the graph states that when x is 6, y has to be 5. So we have to build the equation, y equals mx plus b. But you don't have the graph, okay? If you don't know m and you're missing the graph, y minus y, x minus x. There should be 2 points if you don't know the m. This one we do know it. And the b is y equals m times x plus b. So the m's negative 2/3. Y equals m times x plus b. Okay. M is negative 2/3. 5 is y. 6 is x. So b plus negative 2/3 times 6 is negative 4. Then you add 4 to both sides. 9 equals b. 9. If you want to check your answer, you can always go negative 2/3 times whatever the x is plus a 9. I should get 5 as the output. Okay, xy. So they give me 2 points on the graph. You still need to build the equation. For this and the 2 problems after it, you're building it. So y minus y, x minus x. Okay. Right there, 8 over 4, negative 2 over negative 1. Minus negatives plus plus, that's 10. Minus negatives plus plus, that's 5. 10 divided by 5 is 2, so the slope's 2. So b, y equals m times x plus b. Okay, your m is 2. Just put your 8 for y. You can go 8, 4, negative 2, negative 1. It doesn't matter. Okay. B plus 2 times 4 is 8, minus your 8, 0 equals b. So y equals 2x. Now you can take the 2 times and then the negative 1, you can plus 0, oh, but I should get negative 2. Now take your 2 times 4 plus 0, I should get 8, I do. Okay, still the same thing, you're building an equation, parallel. This is what parallel means. Parallel lines have the same slope, they have the same m. So I need to build an equation that's parallel to y equals negative 2x plus 5, and my equation also has to have a solution that when x is 2, y is 10. Okay, now they have to have the same m, so the y is by itself, so I know the m and the b in that one. I don't care what the b is, I just use negative 2 for my m. Then b, y equals m times x plus b. So the m is negative 2, and 10 is y, and 2 is x. Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4, plus your 4 to the 14, and that's to the 10, and that's 14 equals b. So these have the same m's, and then you take -2 times 2 plus 14, 10. Okay, perpendicular to y equals -5x plus 3 passing through -15, 4. Now perpendicular, this is what perpendicular looks like. The lines cross at a 90-degree angle. Okay, they do not obviously have the same m's. Okay, perpendicular, you need to flip the m's fraction and make it the opposite sign. So, and you're going to want to put some under that -5 so you can flip it. You don't just put 5. You have to make it a fraction by putting a 1 under it. And then MB. So you're going to flip it to 1/5. And if this is negative, mine's going to be positive. So I just put 1/5 in there. So y equals m times x plus b. So m is 1/5. 4 for y. -15 for x. B plus, you multiply that 1/5 by -15. -3. Now if you want to check your answer on that, on a perpendicular, what you do with your m's, take 1/5 times the m over here, -5 over 1. It should be -1. That's how you know it's perpendicular. Now to check and see if that's the right b, okay, I put times -15 plus 7, it's 4, okay, so everything checks out. Okay, graph the function. Now y is by itself, but now it's not mx, there's an absolute value which then makes a v, okay. This is called your vertex. The vertex is where the absolute value has to equal 0, okay. Well, we have to find that vertex point, and then from there, I construct my v. The x, circle inside. It's whatever inside, which is just x here, would make it put you at 0 for the absolute value. Ignore anything outside when you're doing the x. Inside's all that matters. Set that equal to 0, so it'd be 0, okay? Then outside you got a plus -2, so that means y would be -2. Because if you put 0 in for x, the absolute value is 0, 0 plus -2 is -2. So you don't go right or left, you just go down 2. So the vertex shifts from the middle down 2 units. Then construct your v. Okay, arrows on both ends. Now label that as a coordinate. 0, -2. Domain, okay, you look at the x. Domain's based on the x, range is based on the possible what y could be on this graph. Okay, so on the x, that vertex is at 0, but it goes right and left, so it's all. Now on the y, that vertex, this is your y, it's at -2, but from there it doesn't go down, it just goes above it. So you put y with -2 greater than or equal to. Okay, y equals the absolute value of x plus 3. This is different than the last one, okay? Because now inside the absolute value, you don't have just x, you have x plus 3. Well, you need to find the value for x that makes that expression inside equal to 0. So you simply write down x plus 3 equals 0, and you find the x value by minusing 3. So x would have to have a value of -3. -3 plus 3 is 0. Now, is there anything added outside? No. Okay. A 0, if you want to put it, there's nothing, it's 0. So now x is -3, so you go left 3, you don't go up or down. Okay, arrows on both ends, -3, 0. Domain is a possible x values of the function, range is a possible y's. Now, when I look at my x, that vertex is right here. That's at 0, right in the middle. Or, sorry, that was wrong. Okay, this is my x on this line here. You're looking at this line here. The vertex is here. That's at -3. It goes on both sides, so that's all. Okay, the range, that's your possible y's. That vertex is right here at 0. Okay, so you put your y with 0. and then it's going up. It's not going on both sides of the y. It's just going above the 0 point, so greater than or equal. Okay, story problems. An online class charges students $600 for registration. Students also are charged $350 per credit hour. If I budgeted $6,900, how many credit hours can I take? So you got dollars and hours. Hours is X, dollars is Y, so per dollars per hour. 350 times X, okay? So I know that, $350. So hours and dollars, so your X, you got 0, 1, 2, okay? Domain on a story problem always starts at 0, okay? All right, so you got $600, okay, to start with. Then every hour you add 350. Every time this goes up by 1, this goes up by 350. That's why it's your slope. So it's 950 plus 350 is 1,300. And we have to get down to $6,900 and find how many hours that takes. Okay, equals Y. Look at your table. Y starts at 600, and you know what you're adding every hour, 350. Okay, so that's your equation. 600 plus 350 times X equals Y. So that $6,900 goes in the equation for the Y variable. And you need to solve for X. Get the X by itself. So you minus the 600. That's going to take you to 6,300. And over here you still got 350 times X. So then you divide each side by 350. And 6,300 divided by 350 is 18. Okay, 13. The pool is being drained of its water at a constant rate each minute. After draining for 5 minutes, 17,000 gallons remain in the pool. After draining. For 10 minutes, 16,000 gallons remain in the pool. How many minutes will it take the pool to empty from its starting capacity? That means when does it get down from its highest amount to 0 gallons? So you got minutes and gallons. Time is always X. So per gallons per minute. Now it never tells us the gallons per minute, so we don't know that, so I put M times X. So minutes, gallons. All right, so you can't go 0, 1, 2. You go 0, block it. Now you put these combinations in. 5 minutes, 17,000. 10 minutes, 16,000, and you want to get down to 0 gallons, you want to figure out how many minutes that's going to be. Now, clearly, the gallons would have had to start higher than 17,000 at 0 minutes, because at 5 minutes, it's 17,000, it's going down, okay? So I put the letter B there. No, you don't put 0 there, okay? Because it didn't start at 0. So equals Y. And then you put B at the beginning, and you don't know what you're adding every minute because you're not going by every minute, so M times X. So you have to find the M and the B. M is Y minus Y, X minus X. B is Y equals M times X plus B. I just look at my table to get the values. So make sure you're putting the Y above the X, please. 16,000, 10, 17,000. 5. So that's negative 1,000 over 5. So it went down 1,000 gallons in a time span of 5 minutes. So then you divide negative 200. So negative 200 is what's added every minute. Now we still got to find this B if you're going to write the equation. So M is negative 200. You just found the M. Now just go with the 16,000 for Y, 10 for X. You can also go with 17,000 for Y, but then you'd have to use 5 for X. They come in pairs. Those are coordinates. So 16,000 B plus negative 2,000 plus 2,000, 2,000, 18,000 is your B. Okay. Okay. And there's your line, 18,000 plus negative 200 times X equals Y. Then you put Y equal to 0. Now you get the X by itself. Okay. Minus 18,000. Minus 18,000. So negative 200 times X equals negative 18,000. Divide by negative 200. And that's going to be 90. Okay. So it's going to take an hour and a half. 60 minutes, another 30, hour and a half. Okay, last problem number 14. The following table shows the revenue raised at U.S. theme parks. Okay, obviously it's a positive trend. You need to make a scatter plot from the data and draw a best fit line. So this is X, this is Y. X is your time, that's your years. Y is your revenue. Don't put what's in the parentheses. Yeah, actually do. Revenue, billions of dollars. Okay, so 0 to 8. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, now 5.7 is the lowest, so I'm going to start you out at 5, and then every time we add 0.5. So it's 5.5, 6, 6.5, 7, 7.5, 8, 8.5, 9, 9.5, 10, 10.5, 11, 11.5. Okay, so 0, 5.7 is right there. We've got quite a few points. 1, 6.5. 2, 7. 3, 7.9. Okay. 4, 8.7. Okay. 5 is 9.6. 6 is 9.9. Okay, right below the 10. 7 is 10.8. 8 is 11.5. Okay, they pretty much trend positive, but you need to make a best fit line. Start with the ruler on the y-axis, okay? This is Y. You want to position your ruler where the Y-intercept's at, right there, because that's your B. And then just adjust the ruler so the line flows with the points. It's going up, so you need an arrow. Best fit, it's not going to be a perfect line. Write an equation in slope-intercept form that represents your line. MB. Now, first off, before we decide what we need for the formulas, you want to write X, Y, and everybody should be putting that first point, 0, 5.7, because if you know what Y is when X is 0, that's your B, that's your Y-intercept. Okay, you know exactly where that crosses the y-axis. There's no need to use a y equals mx plus b formula on that one, because that's where you started at. Then you find two other points. Just pick the ones I pick in the video. Go 3 and, what the heck, I'll go 3 and 4. So 3, 7.9, and then 4, 8.7. Y minus Y, X minus X. Okay, so we're going to go with 8.7 over 4, and then 7.9 over 3. You want to start with your higher X. So it's 0.8 over 1. If it's a decimal, I don't care. On a word problem, you just divide it, 0.8. Okay. So that means you started at $5.7 billion, and you're adding 0.8 per year. The change per year is 0.8 million positive, which is 800,000.